So the biggest problem that our community is facing is that the federal Liberal government and the provincial MLAs, especially in, when we don't have an NDP MLA, are just not stepping up to make life more affordable for everyday Canadians. And we see this everywhere. And they're just not stepping up to live up to our climate change commitments and our human rights commitments, for example, in reconciliation. And the issue is that today, too many of our electeds are very hard to get a hold of, right? And they just don't listen. And we find communities caught up in a pass the buck game, as was alluded to, where the federal says it's the provincial's fault, the provincial says it's municipal. Municipal says it's parks, parks says it's schools. And then you go around in a circle. People like Crosstown Elementary School came to me about something like this. People in Olympic Village are having difficulties and reached out to me about their community center. They reached out to me about the school in Olympic Village that was supposed to be built in 2010. People have been reaching out to me, of course, a great deal about the main problem which has been alluded to, which is the housing crisis, right? If we look at the housing crisis, which is such in a catastrophic state in Vancouver especially, but also in the other major urban centers, we see that the lack of working together with, for example, CMHC and BC Housing and co-ops is causing an unaffordability problem, which is a crisis. So I'm going to give you some examples. In pharmacare, it makes absolutely no sense to diagnose a disease, which is a provincial mandate, when public health care isn't paying for the way to deal with it through medical care, right? Through a drug plan that people can afford. What's the point of knowing you're sick if you can't take the medicine? The housing emergency that we're dealing with. Non-market housing finance solutions. They were completely stripped away by the Liberals, by the Conservatives before them. CMHC stopped funding co-ops, stopped helping with this anchor of our progressive society, which is the ability to get in and stay where you are so you can kind of make your life. Today, it's incredibly difficult. The new co-ops are very expensive in comparison to to what we pay in the systems that were set up in the past. Money laundering, right? Vancouver is incredibly expensive because of the money laundering game, which we now call the Vancouver model. And part of that was the federal government really doing nothing to work with the provincial government, where policing was telling the provincial government that there was a problem and the federal government wasn't helping. I think it's important to recognize 3 million Canadians are in core housing needs today. That's 8% of all Canadians. That's the symptom of our systems not working together, and that's what I'll help fix.